What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Thank you for tuning in as always. Appreciate y'all. Had to get the day started right. Be careful, don't want to spill the morning cup of Joe or Joanne. Hits the spot every time, man. Hits the spot every time. I got some Nicaraguan coffee that they graciously brought in for me a while ago. I've been drinking it for a minute, but you know what? After a while of drinking the same coffee, even though it's delicious, it's my favorite coffee, it starts to feel a little light. So, I had some of that old chock full of nuts. Pause for anybody who's not familiar with the coffee. Add a little of that to it, and it's got like the perfect blend right now. It's got a little bit more darkness to it. It's right. Anyway, enough of my coffee, 101. Hopefully everybody's doing okay, man. Blessed to be here for another Saturday. Looks like it's pretty nice outside right now on the East Coast. Should be up to around 70 degrees today. So, when we start to get into these 70-degree days, we feel good over here. So I don't know where everybody's located. But, for example, Walter Blackman, salute. I see you in Virginia. So you're already getting some of that nice weather. You've been getting it. Yeah, man. So 70 degrees is nice for us over here. Then I guess they said later this week, by the weekend, we're going to be in the 80s, a couple days, at least Saturday and Sunday. It's cooking now, folks. It's cooking. We here. This is my birthday week too. I'm excited. Good stuff. So definitely want to say what's up and salute to the chat. Appreciate y'all. As I said, Walter Blackman Jr., salute. Osaduke, what's going on? Andy, what's up, bro? Pudge Nice is in the building. What's good? Brooklyn Buddha, Harlem Girl, what's up? Thank you guys for tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world this Saturday, but you choose to be here, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Well, thank you, Walter Blackman. I appreciate it. It's not yet. My birthday ain't yet. I think it's what is it this week? I think it's Wednesday. It's the 18th. Yeah, so I think it's Wednesday. But thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna be coming back like Jordan, wearing the 4-5. Oh man, feeling old, man. I'm feeling old, but it's okay. I'm getting wiser every day. The worst part of doing anything when you're locked into a certain situation, like I'm locked in right now, yet I forgot my phone and I can hear my phone chirping over there. One, I wasn't able to cut the ringer off. Two, I don't know if somebody's sending me something important. So I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. Little technical difficulties. Give me 1 second. I hate to do this, but I just want to make sure that nothing's going on that I should know about that I don't know about. So let me just grab my phone. I apologize. All right. Okay. Crisis averted. Anyway, so once again, thank you guys for tuning in. There's been a couple things that have been happening in Nick land, but it hasn't been too crazy. There's some stuff we're going to get into. As always, there's always going to be trade rumors and speculation and stuff about what the Knicks are going to do. Honestly, we have no idea. They haven't tipped their hand at the moment. And even if they did, we don't know exactly who they're going to be able to get or land. Because as we've seen, every time the Knicks try to make a plan at least a plan A. In recent times, it hasn't always worked out because you know what I mean. The Knicks plan is not just the Knicks plan. Other people have plans too, and you know that's just how it is. So you know, got to deal with it. So let's see what's going on in the chat. All right. So as I mentioned about Walter Blackman, Virginia is in the house. Appreciate you. No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I thank you for that. Thank you. Andy Pudge. What does Andy say here? Taking a page out of Sim's book, gonna be late as well. He learned from the best. Yeah, man. I had to get my coffee right, man. I was like, damn, can I just sit down? I'm like, nope. I can't sit down and start the show and not have my coffee because then I can't get up and I need my coffee. Saturday is not the same without, you know, gotta have it. Walter Blackman said we need to develop McBride and quickly needs to go to work on his mid-range game. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. You know what? Before I go on any further, let me do two things. Let me put this in the chat. And let me, you know, hit the intro. Might as well. Let's get that out the way. What do y'all think? I know you all agree. Yeah, let's take care of some business. We are back. And I'm not alone, people. I am not alone. I've got the you know, the man, the myth, the legend. Andy is in the building. What's going on, Andy? How you doing, brother?
Yo, what up, Ron? Thanks for the introduction. I don't think I'm a legend yet, so.
You listen. You're a legend to us, man. You're a legend to us because there's some mysteriousness, the mystique around you because of you know, unfortunately how far you are. We don't get to see you in person, so you know it's always going to be that thing. When is it going to be the time that we're going to actually run into Andy? So yeah, that gives you the myth.
Yeah, at least that, right?
Yeah. That works. That works. How you doing today?
Did some you know, garden work, did some garage cleaning and stuff like that. So I can basically call it a day. So I'm happy you popped in. You know, like I told you yesterday, I was thinking you're doing it yesterday. So I was waiting in the StreamYard literally for you, and then I realized that it's not today. So
yeah, man. Listen, yeah, appreciate it, man. The thing is, with Andy and his time difference, where he is, he's almost like in the armed forces. You know that old commercial, the Marines. We do more before 5 a.m. You know, something like that before you guys even get up. It's one of those weird. I can't even remember. I just killed the joke. Forget it. I'm done. That's it. I'm not gonna quit my day job.
yeah.
But the point is, that is real for Andy because of the time difference. He's done all this stuff. You know, I'm still in my fifth dream.
Yeah, you are at your coffee, right? I'm after dinner.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man. But it's good to have you as always, buddy. Appreciate you. I was just going through some of the chat real quick, just acknowledging, saying what's up, and then we can kind of get into what my topics for today's brief show is. I got something to do at 1 o'clock, so whatever. You know, I'm just here chopping it up with you guys. This helps my day go along. I look forward to these Saturdays, man. I do. So let's see. Yeah. Well, once again, yeah, thank you to Walter Blackman for the early birthday love. It's not yet, but I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Let's see what Sherwin has to say today. I am looking point guards that are talk about as potential Knicks. Oh, I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, those point guards that we've been talking about. I mean, some of them are, are they really point guards? I mean, Donovan Mitchell, is he a point guard? I mean, I don't know. Jalen Brunson, we know what he is, but do we believe? I don't know. It's still up in the air. It's still trying to figure out if that's somebody you want to invest in. But the other thing is, don't know if Dallas is going to let him go. And if you're in a bidding war with Dallas, like, you don't want to do that. I don't think the Knicks want that. Pudge Nice says, I know exactly what we are doing. Leon is a genius. Okay. Salute to my man White Falcon in the building. Yeah, man. Appreciate you. It's tough, man. It's tough. We'll see what's going on here. It's weird not when I see White Falcon's name, it's weird not seeing him reference Paul George, because that's usually where it is, but that's okay. Real King, what's good? Appreciate you. Okay, so now we've got a little context. Oh no, we're not doing that, White Falcon. We're not talking about James Harden coming to New York. There's certain things that we can say, at some point the dysfunction has to stop somewhere, and I think the Knicks know enough about dysfunction to say, let's not do that. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that. Let's see. Thanks, Pudge. Appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, so Sherwin M says Colin Sexton, point guard, career 3 assists, 2 turnovers. What is that? Field goal is great for 45%. He is great at creating his own shots. He is also a good 3-point shooter at 37%. He just doesn't make his teammates better. Okay, I mean, I could agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's who he is so far at this point. And then he also says Jalen Brunson, point guard career, 11 point, almost 12 points per game. Field goal percentage is at 50%. 3-point percentage is 37%. Assist to turnover ratio, almost 4 to 1 turnover. Ranks number 4 in ISO in the NBA, 32. Ooh, that's interesting. I did not know that he was such an ISO type player. When you think about it, I guess that when I watch his game, I guess he could be. I didn't think about that. That's interesting. Keyshawn's in the building. What's good? I don't know. That's interesting. That's tough. What do you think about that, Andy? What do you think about what Sherwin M says about guys like Colin Sexton and Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, Ron, listen, for me, the numbers, they don't lie, right? Sometimes you could probably, separate them from the exact playing style of a player, because, they're in certain systems, and, when they come to the Knicks, the system might be totally different. So the, numbers might, be skewed a little bit. To Sherwin's point, both Sexton and Brunson are totally different players, at least as I see him. Brunson is a player that can play off the ball, and I think that's one of the most attractive things about Brunson. Even if Tibbs doesn't change the offense, he would be, fitting more around Randall and around RJ than probably Colin Sexton. Sexton is more of a ball dominant player, right? Brunson already showed us playing alongside Luka, Timmy Hardaway, and the rest of those guys that he can play off the ball, which I don't think many Knicks fans factor about him. And like I said, I think that's a huge thing. That's why also I think that plenty of Knicks fans actually realize that, and that's why his name is brought up so often.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I said, the only thing that intrigues me about Jalen Brunson is just the fact that of how he plays so efficient and effective when Luka's not around. Like when Luka's not on the court, or if Luka's hurt for an extended period of time, Jalen Brunson really gets busy. So that's the only thing that really intrigues me about him, because it makes me think that he as a player is a little limited in his role because of how great Luka is and how ball dominant Luka is. So that always kind of gives me that thing like, I don't know, man. Jalen could be, we always talk about diamonds in the rough. Jalen could be great for us. We don't know.
Yeah, but Ron, also to add to this point, listen, if that's the case with Brunson, he would be way more, better looking, at least on a team like the Pistons, because he would be way more higher on the totem pole, around those guys.
Right.
He would have to probably, defer to Cade a little bit, but then he could literally be the second guy if they make a move and move Jeremy Grant. So he might be the second option there, if not the first option, if Cade has an off night.
Right.
On the Knicks, if he comes and we, keep RJ and Julius, I think as high as he can go is probably the third option, if not the fourth, after Fournier or after someone else. So, looking at his standpoint, if he wants to get the numbers, I think, he would go probably to the worst team in the league and get the numbers, his numbers there, right?
It's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Pudge believes Brunson is a done deal to the Knicks. I mean, listen, if there was ever a player that you said, because of how the stars align and relationships and everything, if there was ever a player you'd say it looks like a done deal, it would be Brunson. But nothing's ever a done deal when it comes to the New York Knicks. And I honestly, if you asked me this 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I might really be thinking Brunson's coming here. But the fact that I think Dallas sees the importance for Brunson and what he's done for their team, I think it's going to be hard for them to give him up, because that team has stepped up defensively. They're really good, actually. Like, look, we can't. Like, Dallas is a good defensive team. We can't knock them. They've been playing it. They showed us. But offensively, they struggle to find someone else to help Luka out. Dorian Finney-Smith. I mean, I've been watching a lot of playoff basketball, so it's weird that I feel like I'm comfortable talking about this now, because I normally don't even watch this stuff, Andy, because the Knicks aren't in it. But I said I'm going to watch this year. So I'm watching him, like Dorian Finney-Smith. He's been pretty hot for them. The last game, not so much, but they've been getting good contributions from Reggie Bullock. They've been getting the good Reggie Bullock these past 3 games, because, Reggie's very streaky. He can only do one thing. When he does it, he can do it well. But when he's not, it hurts. But he's been doing it well. He's been hitting his 3-point shot. So you get that. But when you look at who else they have to help Luka, that's it. Like, you got Jalen Brunson. Say what you will about Spencer Dinwiddie. He has not looked good. Not look good at all. I'm kind of surprised that I don't understand what's going on, man. The guy has so much skill still. I've seen him a couple weeks ago. There was a game I was watching. He has mid-range going. The 3-ball, he's not great at it, but it was hitting. But most importantly, like, he was very dominant getting inside the paint and backing down because he's strong. I don't know what's going on with Dinwiddie. So that's the thing about Brunson. I think that's why they value him over there. It might be tough for them to let him go. Andy, I don't know.
Yeah, and Ron, I think the most important thing is that, because there were reports that they won't be looking for a sign and trade deal. Listen, I think that was purely a smokescreen, because if they're going to lose him for nothing, they rather get something for him, right? So if his camp, whatever, his father, himself, they think that they are already 100% leaving. I think that they're going to make that phone call to Mark Cuban or the general manager of the Mavs and just tell them, listen, we have a couple of options. If you want to get something for us, you can try to make a deal with this and that team, and the number should be around this, right?
Right.
At the moment, I was thinking if the Mavs actually can go deeper than what they could offer him in the season, because he was in the parts of Mitch's extension, right, around 55 million for for 4 years. And probably because there was a report that they didn't offer him that. That's why they re-signed Dorian Finney-Smith. And I think they didn't do it because they knew that Jalen Brunson is not going to take that deal. Then they, strapped Finney Smith with that money. And, after the season, it looks like, Jalen probably is going to look for something, around the 20 million mark or even more if they miraculously get that, game 7 win and go even deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be an easy 25 million if he plays great in that game 7. And I was thinking if they can actually even do that kind of a re-sign or sign and trade deal. Because if they couldn't offer him more money during the season, I was thinking if they can do it in the off season. But if I'm correct, I think they actually can go whatever number for him because they got his bird rights. So they can go over the cap to sign him, even if it's like a max contract. So
okay, yeah, that works. That makes sense. Yeah. So I mean. And that's the thing. Like it's tough to say what's going to happen, what they're going to do. I definitely think that there's a need to make some type of point guard move. I don't think they have to do a lot. I'm not one of those people that says they have to do something crazy. Somebody big's got to come in here, but I really just think that we need to do some type of upgrade at point guard. And I'm still cool, even if Quickly is the guy at point guard. But our backup needs to be a solid backup. Like, we just have to have better point guard play overall on this team. I think it'll help. But
definitely.
We'll see what happens. Definitely, I see Keyshawn's in the building. What's good? Manchild, good to see you, brother, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. Haven't seen you. It's me is here. Cully, what's good? Stafford Don, appreciate you tuning in, man, as always, brother. JJ's in the building. And let me see here. Bring in my guy, Marvin. Marvin.
Oh, afternoon, gentlemen.
What's happening?
Good afternoon, bro.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Can't complain. Wherever you at, it looks nice out there.
Oh man, it's beautiful out here in Dallas, man. I'm in Dallas. Just wanted to stop in and give a shout out to Andy and yourself and the chat. See how you guys doing. I was listening to your program. I'm just gonna hang in a second, and then when I get in the house, I might check back in.
No problem, man. Appreciate you anytime. Let me add Soulfinger. See, the funny thing is when I got a show and I'm like, know what? I might be breaking up a little bit, but I'm sure you hear me. Yep. I was just saying, when I have a show, when I'm I'm just going to go on, chop it up, and however long it goes, we'll just see. I'm here by myself holding it down. Maybe 1 or 2 people we talking. Now, when I say I got to be out of here at 1 o'clock, I got something to do. Now everybody wants to pop on, man.
Well, my line to you, Ron, it's good to be the king. You know that it's good to be the king.
Oh man, well we ain't there, but I'll take like a prince's pauper. I'll take that. Let me work my way up.
Yeah, how you doing, Ron? I mean, Andy, how you doing?
What up? Fine. I see you doing fine as well. So.
Yeah, I guess ever since I turned 21 last year, I guess I'm feeling better, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So, Finger, what's good, man?
Yeah, what's going on? Morning, top of the morning, everybody. Andy, what is afternoon? Is it afternoon or evening?
Yeah, after 5. After 5.
Oh, right.
Yeah, man. I'm going to check out, man. I'm going in here. I'll be right back in a little bit, Ron.
All right, no problem. We'll be here for a little bit. Yeah, man, definitely come back.
All righty.
So yeah, man, I just think that that there's definitely some stuff that we gotta hope for. Hope that the Knicks make the right moves. Hope that they do their due diligence. Because here's the thing that I thought I really enjoyed about Steve Mills and Scott Perry. Sorry. Yeah. I like the fact that they did a lot of due diligence. Now, I'm not saying that they're both the best basketball minds. I actually think Scott Perry is a pretty smart dude. he may have his preferences that maybe everybody doesn't agree with, but I think he's a smart guy when it comes to certain things in basketball. And then Steve Mills, I don't know. Say what you will. I don't know what I can give him credit for or not give him credit for. But one thing I did like is when they both were in charge, they did a lot of due diligence. They were looking at everybody. They were looking at all options. I'm not saying they came out with the best scenarios, but they were doing it. And I hope that this Knick regime does the same. Since Perry is still here, hopefully he implores that to everybody else. Let's look at everything. So I hope that's what they're doing, because we need to do that.
You know, I'll say this, and it's saying, you know, you got to look at the Mills Perry era. They did start turning things around. I mean, Phil did it with the money. They kind of started with it as well. They continued on the money situation. Phil was more or less, I'm not giving up draft picks because draft picks are the future, because you could do so much more instead of trading. So you kind of got to give them. They did a lot of bonehead things, but they did do some good things to put us in a position. So Leon did get an ugly situation, but it wasn't as ugly as national media would put it, you know, present it to be. So you can kind of work with that. For me, I don't want desperation. And what I mean by that, I don't want to make a desperate move because of what happened last season. Because, you know, you did all the looking around. Okay, we're going to make this move. We're going to upgrade at the point guard. We're going to bring in some shooting. And then it didn't work. And then we didn't make nothing. We're going to play in, play off, play under, whatever. We didn't make nothing. So now you can't get desperate and do a knee jerk. And that's what I'm concerned about. I don't want us to go out there and just throw money at somebody that doesn't fit. Because if you can get a Brunson and he fits, make that happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go out and get him. I'm not saying, but be cautious, not overly cautious. Don't be so cautious that you're scared to pull the trigger, but make smart business decisions. If you find the draft pick you want isn't there, the best available is there, and it doesn't fit our need, well, use that for something down the line. Be smart about it. You know, turn your lemons into lemonade, basically, man. Just don't jump out there and do something crazy. That's my main concern.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. That makes sense. Oof. I was just about to change topics for a minute when I saw that Pudge said he'll pay Brunson $23 million. It's a lot of ching, Pudge. A lot of ching. I mean, that may be what it's going to take. I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. It's weird because really, when you think about it, $23 million for a Knick organization in the New York market with the TV revenue coming in next year and everything going up, it's not that bad, but it still is, because, you know, you got to also look at what you're paying for. How valuable do you feel like a point guard is, and does Brunson meet that value level? Because I don't know for sure. We're shooting crabs in a barrel, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the fact that he's been a bag up, and I get it. That's like he's a bag up. He was always a bag up. But when you have Luka Doncic, and there's not too many cats, I don't know many other cats gonna be starting above him. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the situation my man is in. Like I said, I'm over the ilk of the old school way of building. And what I mean by that, you need that point guard. You need the point guard, and you need a center to anchor. I'm just kind of like, it was ingrained. That's the way I've always seen it. But in our situation, and the other thing is we need, I think our concerns would be point guard, center, point guard, small forward, center. Those are three things of need for us, in a sense. Unless you're trying to convert somebody into another position, we see how that can go. Can it happen? Yeah, but, you know, will we have the patience? And do we have do we have the patience to do that? So it's gonna be interesting, man. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and Andy, you've been looking at the draft. I know you're looking at the draft a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is more of a power forward driven draft, correct? More so than
at least at the top. Yeah, at least at the top it's power forward heavy. You know, the first, literally the first point guard they're talking about is around the 10th, you know, 15th range, and it's Ty Washington, which, you know, I heard many bad things about him. So you know, I didn't dig that deep around him, because, you know, only guy mentioning you know, him being drafted to the Knicks is Isaiah. And you know how Isaiah is. You gotta, you know, take his knowledge, you know, in pieces. So
I got you.
I was high on Ty, and then I was looking at him, and I was kind of high on him, but then I saw how he was performing. I was like, nah. And then you got to take into account who our coach is. You know, are you going to put out a young guy like that? We already had Deuce, so you already know if you get a young point guard like that, he's not going to get much action. That's just the way Tears operates, and you know, hey, that's one thing he's consistent on. I don't know. And I know if Freezy listening, I'm about to say this name, he's gonna probably fall out. But Trey Mann, I'm looking at that. OKC's got a plethora of young point guards, younger veteran type point guards. I don't know. I kind of like Trey Mann. Only reason I'm saying Trey Mann, I kind of see him as kind of like the guy that's kind of pushed to the side with SGA and then Giddey. You know, those two are right there. You see him more of. But you know what I'm saying? SGA, with his contract they gave to him, they may want to move him. So, you know, a lot of people a lot of would like to see him. I don't know. I think Trey Mann would be the forgotten man. But I would ask about, if I'm a GM, I'm asking OKC about everybody. Even ones I think I said a better chance of running through hell and gasoline draws to get, I'm still going to ask. Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Right. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I honestly, I don't think that Trey Mann's going anywhere. I think that they definitely will try to move SGA because of just money. I think they like SGA. I think they would want to keep him, but I think the way they're like really in their rebuild, and they're getting talented players while they're doing it, and they've got so many draft picks, so much capital, like crazy capital. It's ridiculous amounts of capital that I think they feel like they'll be ready to make moves whenever they think the team is built up right, because they got so much capital. But I don't think they want to pay right now. And I think that's why they're probably going to want to move SGA and then build around Trey Mann. He doesn't cost them anything. You know, like you said, they got Giddey. They got other young players over there, and they got, you know, people they can get in the draft. I think they just want to kind of slow and simmer right now. So, yeah, Trey Mann is tough to get.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we didn't see the whole thing with Halliburton. Well, us as fans, you know, it was all Fox, and then Halliburton happened, and everybody's like, you know, it was like, what? Where'd it come from?
You know what? I know this is early, and this is probably going to come back to bite me later. And it is what it is. I said it now, so you'll hear it now. I could be wrong. Something about Halliburton I'm not feeling. I don't know what it is. I think the fact that when he went to, he's still young, he still can learn, but there's something about his game that's missing. I think he's a really good facilitator, and he definitely can get hot from three. He's got a good shot when he's going, but his in between game, it's kind of tough for me. I don't know. And maybe that's the reason why Sacramento was willing to part with him and continue to roll with Fox and build with
Sabonis.
No, the other point guard.
Oh, Mitchell. The other Mitchell.
Yeah.
Davion.
Thank you. Listen, I said my birthday is this week. It hits me. Like the old age. It's gone.
Hey, look, trust me. I know. Hey, when's your birthday, Ron?
What'd you say?
When's your birthday?
Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me raise my volume a little bit. You were a little low.
Oh,
one more time. One more again.
When's your birthday?
Oh, Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday.
Oh, okay. My daughter's the day after.
Ron,
that's why I knew you were good people.
Oh, nice. What were you saying, Andy?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. You better wish the Knicks jump in the lottery for your birthday. So it's gonna be Tuesday, but
Yeah. Listen, I'm hoping for. Let me get a top 4. Give me a top 4. That's a nice birthday wish. I don't care. Honestly, I think I want. It sounds weird, but I think I want the 4th pick because I don't want the 1st pick. I mean, I want it if we can trade it to get somebody that we really want, if that's a big asset chip. But I don't know if I want to draft at the 1st pick because how do you draft and not take a guy like Chet or like? And I don't know if that's what the Knicks need. So it's like a tough spot to be in for that 1st pick.
But Ron, listen, you take Chet, you sign and trade, Mitch for Brunson, and you're ready to go.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Marvin's back. What's going on, Marvin?
Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to sit back and listen. I just heard you say something that really tickled me, Ron. You say you think your birthday's Wednesday. You got to be my damn brother. That's when you know you over 21, when you can't remember your damn birthday.
I'm like, yeah, man. I don't know. It's coming up soon. It's one of these days. One of these days.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, but I'm just sitting back listening. You guys go ahead.
I just want to shout out Cully in the chat. Appreciate you, my guy. Keith Turner, what's good? And my man Jay Boogie in the building. What's going on, Jay Boogie? Appreciate you, brother, as always.
That was a good point. You think about it, I know we're projected to hit the 11th spot, fall right there. But maybe as I say, the sun shines on the dog's backside every now and again. Hopefully we can be that dog that gets sunburned if we can get in that top 10 somehow. The ping pong balls fall the right way for us. I mean, we do. Stars line and the basketball gods smile upon us. But I want to ask this: if we we get the 11th spot, would you be willing to try to trade into the top 10? You don't think they should try to trade into the top 10, do any and everything possible? And if not, if you can't get into the top 10 on the trade, would you trade back or just trade the pick?
It's tough. Like, I think that if the Knicks are smart about it, it's like, really wheeling and dealing and last minute stuff. And I don't know how, like, they'd really have to have stuff in place, like contingency plans on contingency plans ready to go. But I think the best way to do something like that is to see where you get your pick, and on the day of the draft, like you gotta do it while the draft is happening. You gotta see how the dominoes are falling to understand what will work. Because if you do this stuff ahead of the draft, like say that the Knicks get their lottery odds and whatever, all that's figured out, and they do pick 11, if you make moves prior to, you don't necessarily know how things are going to play out still, because there's still, remember last year's draft, there was a lot of wild stuff going on. Guys got picked. Josh Giddey got picked earlier than some people thought he might get picked.
And that blew up the whole draft right there.
Right.
That was crazy.
Who else? San Antonio jumped out the wall. They jumped off the building, and they took the young guy.
Josh Primo.
Josh Primo early. Like, certain things can happen that really change the level of what you expect. So I think the Knicks kind of got to do it on the day of and watch how things play out. If certain guys go early that they targeted, then you say, okay, maybe we'll move out of this spot because we're not going to get who we want. Or if guys are still on the board and you say, I thought he would have went at 7 and he's still on the board, then maybe you can move up. Like, you don't have much wiggle room. Once you have 11, you can't move up to 5 or higher because that's too much capital. So I don't know. It's tough, but I think they got to kind of play it by ear and watch what actually takes place in the draft, and they got to be quick about it. I don't know if the Knicks are able to do that, but that would be the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah, and Ron, listen, I think it's like among the whole GM world of the NBA management's offices, right? That they probably, for example, like the Knicks are trying to be pick around 11, but they have a name that they're really keen on, and they would trade up, right? But they can work trade, for example, with the Pelicans over someone else, but that's going to be like if that guy is on the board,
right,
then we're going to do that trade.
Right.
But if that guy goes even one spot higher, then the whole trade goes off, and you got to scramble around. And I'm guessing that every management team is going to have those kind of deals. Like if if that guy is still available, you pick that guy, and then we're going to make this and this deal. And, there can be like, how do you call it? Domino effect, right? The Knicks can have like 3, scenarios where they trade up, but, even one pick can screw those 3 steps, or if the Knicks trade up, actually, like 5 other teams are going to have deals in place, and they're then just going to fall apart, right? So they got to have like tons of plans around, on the draft day, and just, hope they're not going to get the end, the bad, end of the stick. So all those plans go through, and we end up with nothing.
I think you're right, Andy. I think that's what they're going to have to really worry about. That it's hard to do stuff in the draft without having those type of scenarios happen, while you're watching and seeing what moves get made. And you're right, everybody's going to be doing that. So it's going to affect one move. Not only could affect your draft board and what you're trying to do, but it could affect somebody else's draft board. So then they make a move that affects another move that you like. It's going to be a trickle down thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
And to that, Ron, I wanted to chime in if you guys didn't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, Marvin.
Do you guys think it would be logical for the Knicks to use that trade and package somebody up to get a veteran point guard? Then you wouldn't have to worry about all that juggling and going on, and you would be addressing the main issue on the team. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think that's something that's why I say I think the Knicks might be heavy in consideration to do something like that, but I don't know if they're going to be in such a good position if it's the 11th pick. If somehow they get in that top 4, even if it's 4, I could see them then saying, wow, there's going to be some people who want this pick, because definitely there will be. And here's the thing. Say the Knicks get the 4th pick. You got Chet, you got Jabari, and you got most likely Paolo Banchero. Most likely those are the top 3, most likely. So that leaves like at 4, it starts to be, is it Jaden Ivey? Is it somebody else? But then you say, are the Knicks? I know there's some fans that are high on Jaden Ivey. I'm not opposed to him, but as more time goes with anything, we like a player, we start to see more of the player. There's certain holes in Jaden Ivey's game, his mid-range and that middle game that I'm talking about before. It's kind of missing right now. It could be developed. He can definitely get it. But do the Knicks say, we got a lot of young guys on this team that still need development, they're still growing? Do we want to take a chance with another guy who may be put in a position where that mid-range game, that middle game is what we need from him, and he doesn't have it? So then how's Tibbs playing? So then you start asking questions like that. Then you say, well, wouldn't it be smarter for me to take this Jaden Ivey pick and use it towards getting a Shea Gilgeous, or not a Donovan? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough to say because Donovan is like the head cheese, but like maybe Shea is a little bit more obtainable with flipping that 4th pick. Maybe, OKC, but like, yeah, we'd love Jaden Ivey over here. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of stuff that I think they'd have to look at, because at least when you get Shea here, you know what Shea does, and he's not developing. He's developed. He's just gonna, get better. So we'll see. I don't know, but I think that would be. I don't think 11 is gonna be too sexy for a lot of teams. We'll see what happens though. But what do you think about that, Andy?
Yeah, listen, I agree. I agree that if we jump into the top 4, I think it's more, possible. Staying at 11, I think I got my favorite here to pick at 11, and I'm pretty much sure that he's going to be available because he's projected a little bit lower. But I think he would perfectly fit the culture of this team. He wouldn't need minutes. The guy that I would pick is Jeremy Sohan, the wing from Baylor. Listen, he's a perfect fit. One, he doesn't have to get minutes year 1. Meanwhile, he's the type of a guy, he has so much energy and high motor that, he's going to make those, bench guys, those Cam Reddishes, those Obi Toppins run for the money. So they're going to got to be tip-top shape in every practice because he's going to beat them out. that's why I think, he's going to be that dog that's going to be chasing them around. So they have to be on top of their games. And I think, that's going to be a perfect situation for Tibbs, because that's going to make his job easier. Meanwhile, listen, if he beats them out, then those guys are up for trades, I'm guessing, right? So
that makes sense.
So Andy, question to you. So are you basically considering go ahead and getting the draft pick and then going about a different way to address your point guard position on the Knicks?
Well, for me, I'm not looking at a point guard in the draft, because if we would pick top 4 or 5, I think there's not like a floor general type of a point guard in this draft that I think even, and not only Tibbs, but even other coaches would use as their main point guard. And since we got Tibbs, so I'm guessing that the best clear-cut point guard, Ty Washington, has literally no chances to play as a starter. So I think either we got to trade for a point guard, sign one in free agency, or if we get to that top 4, maybe somehow maneuver around and get a trade done.
Yeah, that's what I was basically addressing. Are you thinking it just be a trade for your point guard, veteran style?
Yeah, but listen, Marvin, if we ain't gonna trade, we're gonna sign a guy, in the offseason, strictly from the free agency pool, we might be looking at guys like, statures of Ty Jones, and I think that's gonna be Tyus Jones. I think that's gonna be like the top prize for the Knicks, because we don't have that much money. We ain't going into the free agency like with 30 million, open up and we can just pick around. So it might be more of a problem than fans think.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and I was just thinking, when it comes to Mitch, I still kind of feel like Mitch is out of here. There's a chance he comes back, but I still feel like he's out of here. But if somehow the Knicks do something, whether they do it prior to or Mitch knows that it's actually going to happen, if the Knicks can get a point guard in here, Mitch might stay. I think that might go a long way in Mitch saying, okay, well, if there's somebody who can actually get me the ball and get me open and I could be a part of the offense more and do things, he might be interested in that.
That's a good point.
It's a possibility.
No, that's a good point, Ron. I mean, think about it. What point guard is Mitch since he's been on the team? Who's been his point guard?
That's the thing. He hasn't had a solid, outside of, I feel like it's disrespect to keep saying this when it comes to Derrick Rose, but it's just Derrick Rose hasn't really been in the starter role. He's the backup.
Yeah. So. And that's the whole thing. And then too, Mitch, look at it like this. Mitch didn't play any college ball. He sat out all that time. So a lot of his development and learning has come since he's been in the league. And then how many coaches he's been through as well?
That's true.
So it's you got to detract it. There's no excuse on it. I'm not trying to make an excuse to be to give him. I'm cutting him some slack on that because of the situation. He didn't ask for that. It's just the way the organization was run at the time. We do need a point guard. I don't want us, like I said, I'm on this thing of don't get desperate, don't do anything crazy, kind of stand pat. Because after seeing, and shout out to the Grizz, they pushed Golden State to 6 games. They pushed them 6 games like they did. The thing about it is, we're witnessing a changing of the guards. If you stand back and look at it, all these players. The Grizzlies pushed, Golden State normally is blowing running younger teams off the court. They struggled. And you get a bunch of young, hungry cats who only had one older player on their squad to push Golden State the way they did. They didn't back down. They were physical. They were, it was almost like it was watching up-tempo, new game, new ball, to the old grind and physical beat you down type game. So and then you have Boston. Boston is pretty much homegrown. They brought it in pieces because they drafted well. Granted, they had the high picks. Danny Ainge did what he did to make the moves to keep collecting asset upon asset upon asset, but he got them in a good position. You know, those are kind of teams you kind of want to look at and emulate, because I always look at San Antonio as well. You know, it's not San Antonio today. I mean, granted, they'll make their moves, whatever, but Popovich gave you a blueprint of sustainable winning, long sustainable winning, and that's what we should be shooting for. Not win now, get a championship, and then go out like the Lakers. You know, no disrespect. I'm not taking a shot at the Lakers, but it's just simple facts. They sold their soul to get all these players in. You got your championship, and now look at you. You know, you can't get anything right. You're firing. You put the blame on the coach. That's not his. It wasn't his fault. It was the GM who brought that mess in. And then you had LeBron put on his GM hat because he wants to bring in another super team. You know, his super friends and all like that. And you bringing in players off names who don't vibe or who don't mesh well together, and don't want us to go down that road. We've been in purgatory long enough. Let's do it the right way for once. Like I said, last time the Knicks won the championship, I was only a few months old, man.
Wow.
I was only a few months old, bro.
Wow.
You know?
Guys, I have one more question. Is this the main question I have for you, Soulfinger, Ron, and Andy? Is it true that Mitch has a couple of more days to determine if he's going to request a trade?
You know, they keep saying that. I've seen different things. I've seen that he has a few more days. Then I saw that he actually has into June, to the end of June. I don't know what the actual truth is. So I couldn't answer it yet. I've seen both.
I didn't think so. What you think, Andy?
No, I'm pretty much sure that it's not a situation. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. The Knicks just have the option to go over the cap to sign him. That's the only advantage the Knicks have. But he's gonna, he can fly around the whole NBA and gather offers, whatever, and he can straight up sign an offer, and the Knicks won't be able to have any say in it. But I think, the Knicks can give him a little bit more money probably than someone else, because they can literally sign Mitch to a max contract. So, I'm pretty much sure that, and I could, swear that probably Leon Rose told him, listen, go around, the NBA, gather offers. When you have the offers, just show us. We're going to see if we're going to be able to match it. And if he's, talking about, staying in New York, that will be fair to the organization. So, for him to do it, right? He's going to come up with the highest offer, I don't know, 20 million, whatever. Leon's going to look at it and he's going to be like, listen, I think you're worth this and this amount, right? Or we're going to match that, or we can give you even more, or something like that. And then, or they're going to say like, listen, we can't match that money, so let's work around a sign and trade deal where we give you a little bit more money if that team agrees to deal with us, right? So, for example, Detroit tells him that he's going to get 20 million a year. They're going to give him like 20 and a half or 21 million, and then trade him to Detroit, right? So, that's the only option for Mitch. There's not like an offer on the table so he can be unrestricted or something like that. Or he's straight up unrestricted, just the Knicks have his birthright. So if he waits down along, and the market dries up, then he can still go to the Knicks. For example, his value around the league is going to be 15 million per year. The Knicks can give him even 20 if they are capped out, because they can go over the cap to sign him.
There you go. That makes sense. Yeah. Now, and so here's the thing. In actuality, the Knicks want for him to get to be an unrestricted free agent, because that's their only little bit of a chip that they can hold over him. Not hold over him, but that what Andy said, that's the thing that they can use, because you're playing a little bit of a game, because when you're unrestricted, obviously Mitch can get an offer from anybody. Charlotte for 20 million. I like that offer. Take the offer. Sorry, guys. Guess there's a delivery, but it's not for me. They can take, give him an offer from Charlotte, for example, for 20 million. He can like that offer and say, yeah, I'm taking it. And the Knicks can't match because he's unrestricted. and he can walk. But what the Knicks can do at that point, once he's a free agent, is they can say, look, like Andy said, Charlotte offered you 20. Work with us. We'll get the sign and trade going, and we obviously can get you more than 20 if they're willing to do it. But it's like, it's really, you're playing a game, because the other thing is, like, Charlotte might be like, if Charlotte wants him like that, oh, we want him for 20. So here, Mitch, just take this money and come on over. So I don't know. It's a little tough. It's tough to know what can happen there. But the other thing is, on the flip side, this is another thing that gets overlooked a lot with these players, and more of this stuff is coming out now that these established players are talking. Sometimes these players don't get a chance to be free agents. They don't get a chance to explore the market. They don't get a chance to get wined and dined, go to different cities. Where's the love? They want to see the love. Just like DeMar DeRozan said before, when he signed with the Bulls, like, this was his first time to really be a free agent, and he wanted to experience that. Some of these guys want that, and now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something Mitch has had like 5 or 6 different agents, and we don't know how he thinks, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to experience the process a little bit and see what it's like. So,
yeah. And to Soulfinger, do you think the necessity of signing a veteran or a decent point guard will sway Mitch left or right?
I think it can help a little bit, but I think it was going to more or less come down. I think it could help, but I think it's going to come down to the money as well, because the man's going to want to get he's going to want to get paid. And the thing is okay, you bring in a point guard, he needs to know he's going to be part of an offensive system, because that's one of the things he was talking about before. Remember, he's put in his cryptic tweets about getting in cardio. I'm getting all this cardio, but he's not being used offensively. So, we haven't, we were all up in arms when we saw him do a move, put it between his legs and go to the rack. Everybody was, we were like, oh my God, what is this? And he did another little move. We were like, oh, what is this? So, a point guard would definitely help. And then too, it depends on who it is, who you bringing in. So,
yeah, that's what I mentioned. That's why I mentioned a veteran.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get the right veteran. I just think if he can get a point guard to get him the ball, that could make a big difference. But besides going to a team that has a point has a point guard to get him the ball. Now, like Dallas, I can understand if he wanted to go to Dallas, they're gonna pay him, and I can get with Luka, because I know he's gonna get me the ball. You're going to Dallas, state tax, you get paid what you want. He's from New Orleans. That's not that far of a drive or a flight. And I'm playing with Luka. He can give me the ball.
Yeah.
It's tough to say no to that.
And you're looking at the situation area. Then you flip it and just throw out he's in OKC. He may not want to go to OKC because he wants to win. Maybe he's at a point now and said, look, I want to get paid, but I want to be on a contender. I don't want to do this rebuild thing because that's what I've been doing in New York. So that's a possibility. He may not go there. Same for Detroit. They could load him, throw all the money at him, but he could look at what's the best situation for him to win and also get money at the same time. Because he's going to be at a point in time where I got to start making my move.
Right.
And I said a dark horse team. I wouldn't put it past him to do it. And I just, for some reason, I don't know why it's getting to me like this. I keep seeing Miami. I see Pat. Yeah, I can see Pat Riley doing something. I don't know why. Because they playing well, and they play well for the size they have. But you add in a Mitch who really does need the ball, and you got guards that can get on the ball.
Wow.
Whatever role. It may sound far-fetched, but stranger things have happened, and I'm just looking at it because you add a Mitch in with a Bam. You can have some serious problems in the East, in already stacked East. And then you're looking at the tax situation, cost of living situation, and the money. You can't get better than that. If
sexy, man.
Man, listen, if Miami had him, look out.
Yeah, those are things I'm just kind of looking at. I just don't want us to lose out on a situation to put us in get put in a bad situation. I'm not saying overpay the man out of desperation like we've done in the past, but what I'm saying is be smart about what you do and get the right pieces. You got to get it's duly noted. We're well overdue for a point guard. Yes, we have Derrick Rose, but we're dependent on Derrick Rose and his injured knees and everything, injured knees and ankle. We brought in Kimba, and then shout out to my man AD. He coined the phrase "bone on bone" with Kimba. Yeah, I bought into it because I was hoping that it would possibly work. High risk, low risk, high reward, but it was a high risk, high and no reward. Period.
Right.
So,
right.
when you look at it like that, so we do need a point guard. And I know we got IQ, we have Deuce, but you got to move before you do it, you got to move all these other pieces, then make the move you got to do and go from there. Yeah.
I agree with that. Let me shout out a couple more people real quick. CMAC, CAA affiliate. Yeah, that's you. What's good? Allah Wise in the building. What's going on, Allah Wise? Salute to my man D is balling. What's going on, D? Krillian's Underlow. Margaret Edwards is here. L Servy. D Ras is in the building. Black coffee, no sugar with clove. Might have to try that. But I can't do the black coffee. I gotta have some, whatever. Canal Band Lauya is in the building. What's good? Tribe, see you. Fabian Williams, Marvin Smith, H Money 821 is in the building, and we surveyed 100 people is here. Good to see y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Let me take this quick opportunity, this quick moment to give this quick shout out once again to D is Ballin, aka D Poetic. If you guys have or have not seen already, there is a thumbnail for tomorrow's show at 12 p.m. That's Sunday at 12 noon. We are going to be doing the first of a 3-part series. It's our draft special series. We'll be going through the top 11 players because obviously the Knicks are slated at worst to most likely pick at 11. We'll see. And we're also going to be talking about some sleepers and some other players that might show up on the radar in the second round or what have you. So tune into that. That's going to be pretty fun. It's combination of myself, John, No Way Jose, my man Prophet from Feet Sports, and Deep Poetic. So it's a little jam packed. I don't know necessarily how it's going to work as far as if we have any other guests to come on. It's going to be might be a lot of us, so it's a lot of talking. It may be more informational and chat wise. We may just go back and forth with the chat. So I don't know. But I think
that's a smooth way telling me that you don't have a spot for me.
No, but I just because we have this 3-part series set up, and we've been doing a lot of information stuff behind the scenes, and they've been compiling data. I've been compiling data and all this stuff. So I don't know how it's going to shake out.
Cool, bro.
It's not to you, Andy. It's not to you. But I'm gonna see how we do things. But it's gonna be a 3-part series, like I said, and we may jump in and give some updates as we get closer to the draft and see what happens. But it should be pretty fun. I'm excited to do it, as well as our Monday show. We're gonna have Danny B from Knicks Morning Drive on, so that should be pretty fun, man. We got a couple things happening, so definitely tune in and support. Appreciate all of y'all. I just want to put all that out there, but it should be a good time. Now, that being said, the Knicks held a free agent minicap, folks. Yes, that's right. I don't have the applause thing, but a free agent minicap. You know what I mean? Mad free agents up in here. Let me tell you who came into this mini camp so y'all could get your mouths all, up in arms and start talking, get salivating at what we had going on. So Knicks held the free agent mini cap. Guards like Devin Dotson, Chris Clemens, Daquan Jeffries, Lewis King, George King, Alize Johnson, Reggie Perry, John Petty, Craig Randall, Carlick Jones, Aaron Henry, AJ Lawson, all took part. Crickets?
I only realized like a couple of names of that list.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
know.
So
most of those guys are second tier, I would say.
Second tier.
I remember Alizé, because Alizé came to the Garden and gave us the business when he was with Brooklyn.
No,
and I was like, man, we got beat by a cat named after a drink.
Yeah. This is why I want to say these names, because a lot of people don't know these names. Alizé Johnson stood out because you're right, so he gave us the business. But these are all the type of this this lets you know kind of what the Knicks are playing with, guys.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about big names and stuff. This mini camp lets you know, like, this is a realistic scenario of what could take place for these Knicks going into next season. So I just want to put that out there.
You know, Ron, I heard you talk about Trey Mann off of Oklahoma. You know, they got Ty Jerome over there also. He's on the 2-year, 2.4. Now, I was looking at his numbers, guys, and he doesn't get much tick, but he's not bad. He's a young guy. He's 24 years old. He is a shooting guard right now. But I was looking at his numbers, and they kind of reflect that he maybe could do something. He wouldn't be expensive. I'm not sure if Oklahoma would be willing to even think about doing anything with him. But I just wanted to bring his name up to you guys and see had y'all even, looked at him. His name is Ty Jerome, Oklahoma.
Honestly, I've seen his name associated with us in the past.
Ty Jerome, but go ahead, Soulfinger.
Oh, you have Soulfinger?
I've seen it. So, like some months ago, his name came up in something regarding us in the past.
Yeah, he's 6'5".
Yeah,
it's one of those under the radar guys. So
it's a possibility. But before,
I mean, if you're not talking about spending a lot of money, I'm not saying he's the perfect fit. I'm not saying he's the do-all answer. He's just, considering the names that Ron just read out, I think he gets a little more playing time. I think he's a little more seasoned. And also, Andy, I wanted to ask you this, because I heard Soulfingers mention Dallas, and Mitch would love to go to Dallas. Is it realistic to do a sign and trade with Dallas to get Brunson?
Yeah.
For Mitch?
Yeah, of course. I said like half a year ago, almost like at the trade deadline, I was thinking that they're gonna pull it off on the trade deadline, because the Mavs were looking for a center, and because when you watch the Mavs game, Dwight Powell literally gets like 10-12 minutes of burn, and then they go totally different rotation, so they can't rely on their center spots. They're trying to stretch the floor with Kleber and the rest of those guys. Bertrand's at the 5 even. That's why I was thinking that maybe they want and when Dory Finney-Smith got that extension, I was like, they ain't gonna have the money to resign Jalen Brunson. That's why I was thinking that they might do a sign and trade and solidify that center position for a couple of seasons ahead. But there are also rumors that they're looking at Rudy Gobert if the Jazz implode. Maybe they're going to throw a couple of draft picks, whatever, and have an all-star center there, right? So,
yeah, and I was thinking about that. I think that's perfect for both teams. What you think about that, Ron? You don't like Brunson?
No, I'm not out on Brunson, man. Like, Brunson is okay to me. I'm not one of the like I said, I like the fact that he steps up when the main guy is not around. I also like the fact that I've seen some of that dog that he's got in the playoffs. Like, what I saw him do to Chris Paul a couple games ago, that was telling for me. Like, he was like pushing Chris Paul around, which also was telling on the other end. For the first time in a long time, Chris Paul really did look like his new age of 37. Like, he's starting to, I don't know how it can happen overnight, but it's looking like it in front of my eyes that these past couple games, Chris Paul has definitely looked more human and pedestrian than I've ever seen him before. So, it is what it is. Time is just, that's how it plays out. But I definitely like the dog that he's got. And I think that's his personality. From what I hear people talk about, Brunson has that in him. So that, if you like New York basketball, old New York basketball, and you like that style of play, and you like to have players that are like that gritty, we talked about it before. Now, the only thing is on the defensive end, he doesn't bring that intensity because he's just not as defensively skilled as a Patrick Beverley and these other guys. But you like the grit. You like the grit, at least.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, okay. I was just mentioning it because when I was listening to Soulfinger and thought about Andy's scenario, I thought it would be something because like I say, I think I just read in the chat that Mitch has to choose Dallas first, and then to go back to Andy's point, I think he likes Dallas. I think he would have, because of Luka being there, and I think the Knicks would love to have Brunson.
Yeah, and listen, for Mitch, it will be a perfect fit because they literally don't have any centers there. So it's not like he would have to fight for a position or for minutes there. He's like, I'm the starter right off the bat. Meanwhile, listen, if he goes anywhere else, like New Orleans, he ain't gonna go there because they re-signed Valanciunas. The Pistons might be an option, but they have Bagley, that they traded for in the trade deadline, right? So if they're gonna stick with Bagley, he's gonna have to play for minutes versus him. Meanwhile, versus with the Mavs, he's gonna have an easy open way, to be that center. So I think that's a perfect fit for him.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. Dallas, like I said, Dallas and my dark horse is Miami. And he said, well, they got Bam. You can always put Bam at the 4. And if you put Bam at the 4, we see what the man doing at the 5. Imagine him at the 4 with the freedom to do the things that he can do. He's gonna overpower a lot of other forwards out there in things as well. But Dallas with Luka giving him the ball is really, truth be told, it is a match made in heaven for him in a sense. Yeah. But if we can get a point guard, see, my thing is, if we get a point guard, I think Mitch would actually stay. You get a point guard that can get him involved, Mitch would actually stay. I'm not, and I know some folk are up on Mitch, some are down. I'm just looking at the possibility of what he can do. I'm not saying that Mitch is going to turn into the next Ewing. I'm not saying anything like that, but he could be a good piece. He is a good piece, and I do like what he does for us defensively. Like I was saying, well, he's always injured, but he played 70 other time. He only missed 10 games this season. So he had a turnaround, and he had, besides the Rona situation and then coming back off the foot, Mitch gave us a good solid minutes. He did all right. It's just considering the defensive liabilities we brought in that made things difficult for him, because you're asking Mitch to be in 3 places at once when we had both Kemba and Evan on the floor at the same time. He's got to come off and try to guard being 3 places at once to get back. So that's why he had, if he didn't really get fouled. He hadn't been in foul trouble since the time with DeAndre Jordan coming in and giving him a little tutoring. So, I think Mitch could be a good part. We just need to integrate and use him more. You got to have that point guard that can get him that ball. Brunson could possibly be that guy, because Brunson, let's be honest, when Luka was down, Brunson did a lot. I had to give him his props. I had to see what he can do. But also, as you said, Marvin, Jones out of with the Grizz, that could be another option as well if you want to bring in, or the not popular, not sexy. This is gonna cause I'm about to start a riot when I'm gonna say this. You may want to stand pat and working what we got and just chuck this season up again as what it is, up and down. It's really no real way to tell, because I think the only way we can say is follow the money. You have to follow the money to be able to come up with an idea of what we're gonna do. We know Kemba's out of here, man. That 1-year contract, because you can trade that off. Somebody want to offset some salary or whatever, sign him, dump him, or whatever else. So we got assets to move, but it's just what move. We know we need a point guard, small forward, and the center situation is a concern because we don't know if Mitch is going to stand. Sims, I like Sims, but he's not ready yet. Sims needs work, and then Nerlens. Thank you for what you did to help. You gave us the season before, and you played injured in the playoffs, but man, he played 26 games last season. Now, yeah, that's a bitter pill to swallow.
It's true. This is true. Man, honestly, the only way I think you can guarantee and secure that Mitch will come back, which I don't think this will happen because I don't know if this gentleman has it in him to do this. But if they would have called Mitch into the office and Tom Thibodeau would sit down with Mitch and say, listen, we value you here. We need you here. I've seen some things this past season that I could have done differently, but I'd definitely like to get you a little bit more involved on the offensive end. If he was to do that, Mitch would come back. Tibbs was not going to sit down and do that with Mitch. And so that's where I think that's the only thing that I could say. If he did that, Mitch is coming back.
See,
I don't think Tibbs doing it.
And I wanted to ask Andy, because I'm looking at Andy's face. Andy, how much confidence do you have? How much confidence do you have in Mitch re-signing?
Bro, if we give him the most money, he's gonna stay.
Oh yeah, money talks.
Yeah,
that's a great answer, Andy.
And I think it's gonna be down to even thousands of dollars, bro. If that difference is gonna be somewhere else, he's going somewhere else. I'm with Ron, and actually, I don't think the point guard signing is gonna even matter because the point guard is gonna run the offense that the coach wants, and if Tibbs doesn't see a piece of the cake for Mitch on that offense, he ain't gonna get the ball no matter who plays that point guard position. That's why I think and I think like Ron said, if that came true, that scenario that Tibbs tells Mitch, listen, we're gonna run more plays. Listen, if I'm Mitch, I ain't gonna believe that, man.
You don't think
I ain't gonna do it. I had a couple of games. I got those cryptic tweets out. He probably spoke with Taj and with someone else, with D-Rose, and those guys were like the connection between the players and the coach. And they told Tibbs, listen, Mitch ain't happy with his role on the offense. Maybe we can give him a play here and there. And what we gotta look at that. Basically, the most assists that Mitch had were from RJ on those alley-oops, from Fournier, from Quickly. We never saw, Kemba maybe, but Kemba wasn't used correctly as far as I see it. So because we didn't put him in as many pick and rolls as he can play, that's why I think that hurt Mitch. We know that hurt Mitch, and I think Mitch, basically the bridges is burned with the Knicks unless they hop out of the money with the money for him. So that's the only way I see him staying. That's why I think the best case scenario with Mitch is just get that sign and trade done and get something for him. If he's gonna leave for nothing, I think that grade for the front office in the offseason is gonna be way worse if we just have a situation where he walks for nothing.
See, thank you, Andy. Thank you for saying that, because we did that with Frank, and people saying that's crazy. We had a chance, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Marvin, but Andy touched on something real. I just wanted to mention. Remember when we traded for Rose, Detroit wanted Frank, but we held on to him. No, you can't have him. You give the man more money, and then you let him walk for nothing. If I'm not mistaken, Golden State wanted Frank. We could at least look. You could have got a half-eaten ham sandwich and a swallow left of Kool-Aid for the man, but you let him walk for nothing.
And so, Finger, listen, we probably could have had him for that pick that they picked Jordan Poole. An example.
Yeah, that burned me up right there. And I'm like, man, if you got somebody, you let him go, get something for him. Something's better than nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, guys, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
I want to ask this. So is Tibbs' offense predicated not on getting the center scoring opportunity?
Listen, as far as I see it, I think the center position as the best suited way for Tibbs' offense is to stretch the floor. Meanwhile, neither of these guys, neither Mitch, Nerlens, Taj, Sims can stretch the floor. That's why they're clogging the paint, and Randall has problems, with playing down low. If those guys, try to stretch the floor, they're not going to get the ball because, if I'm a point guard and I see a guy like Mitch that never took a 3-point shot in the last 3 or 4 seasons, I ain't going to give him the ball there because I'm going to put him in a bad position. It's like it's like passing the ball to him in a fast break, right? Why are you going to pass the ball to the center?
Right.
He's not in his position. So, that's why only things that our big men have in their offensive, skill sets is literally, just putbacks. Taj, we saw a couple of threes from Taj.
Yeah, Todd, but Taj always had that little mid range as well.
Yeah, he had that baseline jumper, right? He could he at least the baseline jumper, right? Or around the free throw line, he could take that shot. But the rest of the guys we heard before the season that Tibbs is expecting those guys to take threes. We saw Nerlens attempt, 1-3 for, I remember like it was yesterday from the right corner, but he was shooting it before he catch the ball, and the ball went out, out of bounds because he didn't catch the ball and he was already probably in his shooting motion in his head. So, that didn't work. But Taj as the, 37, 38-year-old dude, he shot the best out of the whole Knicks, big men from the three. That's why that's an issue for me because, if the coach told you guys before the season, you got to practice that. That's where you're going to get the ball. Meanwhile, we never saw Mitch even around that three. So, and he's like, calling out Tibbs that he's just running doing cardio. Bro, if you ain't going to take that shot, they ain't going to pass you the ball.
I mean, and I hear you saying on that too, Andy, but my thing is you always see, and when we run and he has Mitch in the same spot, is always underneath. So it's just the way I think he needs to somebody with some more. Either listen to Johnny Bryant, let Johnny Bryant, maybe let's give Johnny Bryant a shot, come up with some more offensive schemes, or bring in a coach with an offensive scheme, because it's kind of like the same. Now, in the same way, in this crazy, because like I was saying, there's a different on that, but then I'm agreeing with you because if you look at his past team, you had Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah would come out and shoot the shot. Yeah. He had Cat. We already know Cat can shoot. The Cat is an anomaly. I don't even want to bring him up. Cat is Cat. We're not gonna bring him in this conversation because that's just a whole different thing. You put Cat on any other team, Cat gonna sit up there and bust your head to the white meat from wherever he's at outside. But you had Joakim Noah who shot the three, who would shoot at least from the elbow or something. He'd get out. He had a mid range. Taj. But the thing is with Mitch and along with Sims, neither one of them attempted a shot outside. And so that's something we need to see done. If Mitch would if Mitch was just throwing boulders up, at least he's attempted to get the shot up. But I've never yet to see him really anywhere else besides underneath the rim to get the putback. So it's you got to design something for him. And if he has a chance, like, hey man, just shoot. That part I can't really say because we don't know what's going on, but it's kind of like the same old. And I saw somebody put in the chat, Mitch is Tyson Chandler, and he is Tyson Chandler like.
Yeah. But to you, Ron, do you think in Andy's philosophy, then that changes the fact that it should be a sign and trade for a stretch 4 or 5 like Turner out of Indiana?
Well, let me see if I can answer this quickly because I'm gonna have to get out of here. But I also want to touch on real quick, just mention a couple other things. I don't know. I mean, I think the Knicks need to look at the value of their team overall, what they already have, and what can make them better, even if it means abandoning the point guard idea. As far as going out and getting, a really good one right now, this whole thing may have to wait one more year. If you want to get that dynamic type point guard, maybe next year is the year you can do it. This year they may have to, go away from the idea and just try to get the best possible players to round out the team in certain spots where you have a need. I wouldn't listen if you're going to lose Mitch anyway, and Mitch is willing to work with you. I don't know if he will be, but I would do a sign and trade for the best possible player I can get back, whether he's a point guard or not. If you tell me that this team that Mitch wants to go to has a point guard that's kind of but they got a small forward or a power forward who's a beast, and for whatever reason they're willing to let him go, the point is to acquire better talent, right? So you got to get something, and I'd rather get something that works you find a way to make it work. You could have a log jam. So if there was a power forward out there, you could have him, Julius, and Obi. Now you know you have a problem, but that doesn't mean you're going to be stuck with the problem. Of course, the heat is going to be on, and those guys are going to be like, one of us is out of here. But the point is, you make a move from there, and you figure out what you got to do after. The point is to acquire talent for Mitch if you're going to lose him, no matter what that talent is, as long as it's talent. Not a bum just to get him out of here. Like, oh, we traded Mitch, but at least we got Captain Shipper Pants because he's somebody we could put on the roster. No, anybody is not the answer. You want to get somebody that works, that you can figure out how it works, or at least set something up where you might be able to flip that guy somewhere else. So I think it's something that they really need to try to consider and work with Mitch on. Just be smart in business. Okay, it's basketball is the game. Front office needs to handle the business. Be smart about it. Just try not to get, fleeced and have these guys that we cultivate. We don't give them the money and then we watch them walk away. We got to try to get something. That's my feeling on it.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to say, and Parrish Douglas, salute to you. Good to see you. Fonya's Tainted Steak. That is a funny name, man. What's going on? Good to see you. Fabian Williams is in the building. Appreciate y'all. I'm sorry, guys. I also see Visions. What's going on, Visions? I wish the show could be longer. Unfortunately, I have a commitment that I have to go to soon. But before I get out of here, I just wanted to touch on these two things real quick and get you guys' takes on it. One, so Cam Reddish has started his basketball activities. He's in the gym. Yep. He's shooting around light, kind of getting it going, obviously. It really worries me because I knew Cam hurt himself. I just didn't realize that he hurt himself that bad. I mean, I knew he was going to be done, but it feels like it was pretty bad. I don't know. So I'm glad that he's starting to resume activities, but I'm still worried about his health going forward. And also, I wanted to acknowledge and salute to the guy who is doing the damn thing. We may never see him in a Knicks uniform again, but Rokas Jokubaitus doing the damn thing, man.
Yeah, man.
I want Rokas here so bad. I just don't know if it's gonna happen. And while Tibbs is here, I don't know, man. What do you think about your man Rokas, Andy?
Yeah, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised he won it because there's a guy that is going to be probably the #1 pick in the next year's draft, a big man from France, Victor, and his name is even hard for me. It's like Wambanaya or whatever. But that dude is going to be, when we were thinking KP was a unicorn, that dude is like, he's way better than KP. So and that guy is, I can tell you guys that he's going to be the #1 pick next season. I have no doubts about that. Unless they're like the #1, the team that's going to have the #1 pick, they already have like an all-star center on the roster, maybe. But those kind of teams don't get the first round picks, the first #1 pick, right? So yeah, and listen, on this Rokas thing, I'm glad for him. He plays on a great team. He's a backup. But let me list a couple of names of guys that already won that reward, right? That rising star in the European League. And I know a couple of guys are going to grimace here, but Andrea Bargnani won that award. Rudy Fernandez, Danilo Gallinari, Ricky Rubio, Nikola Mirotic, Kostas Papanikolaou. I don't know if you guys recall, but the Knicks picked him in the second round, and then we traded him to Houston or somewhere else, right? Bogdan Bogdanovic, Alex Abrinas. He was playing on the OKC Thunder for a season, I think, and then he went back because the money was better for him in Europe.
He was there for a sip of coffee.
Yeah, Luka won that award twice. Goga Bitadze, that's the big man from the Pacers. Usman Garuba. Okay. Yeah, Usman Garuba, the forward on the Rockets currently, and Rokas. So listen, I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple of good names on that list, and the guys that even played a couple of seasons in the NBA. So if he could probably come to the NBA on the Knicks in like a season or two, and get into the rotation, I think he's going to be quite good. His conversation, his calm player, like he plays like it. He's Goran Dragic 2.0. You can't say, well, if you cut his head off and put it Goran Dragic head on, you would even see the difference.
Going before the injuries.
Yeah, before the injuries. So I'm pretty much confident that he probably and listen, I saw already a couple of scouts in the NBA saying that he's a rotation player currently, like if he comes this season on, right? Though with Thibs, I ain't having no high hopes. And he said it himself that he needs probably like 2 years because, listen, he ain't a dumb kid. He ain't going to go to the NBA to ride the bench for 2 seasons and lose his momentum. And then nobody even in Europe is going to look at him, right? So he rather play backup minutes on Barcelona, he's going to be in the EuroLeague Final Four and stuff like that. So playing in the top level, just about below the NBA competition. And I think that's more of for him, for his gathering experience and evolving his career. So I think that's the best thing that could happen for him, getting minutes on huge and great organizations here in Europe than just riding the bench on the Knicks.
And you know what, honestly, you said it right. He's a smart guy, and he sees what's going on in the league. There's other European talent that's in the NBA that these guys see. Like in Europe, they've done good things. Like, I mean, look at Luka Vildoza. Couldn't do anything with the Knicks. Yes, he was hurt, but he's on Milwaukee. That dude rides the bench. You don't see him at all. So a guy like Rokas can say, "Wow, okay, listen, it's tough over there. I gotta get right. I want to play. I don't want to be here and then be out of here." Plus, these guys, say what you will, I don't know how much money, the difference in money when they come over to the Knicks. I know what teams have to pay for these players to get them over, but how much does the player actually make? Are they making more in Europe and then taking a cut and loss to kind of get their stuff going in the NBA and then build up from there? So they're giving up something to come here, I would think, as well. And also they're beloved and appreciated in these Euro leagues. When you come to the NBA, you just another player. Ain't nobody really, unless you a Luka, or even I'm thinking Knick terms, like Mario Hezonja. I mean, Mario Hezonja was the white Mamba. Okay, he was supposed to be the white Kobe Bryant, the European Kobe Bryant out there. So it's it's crazy, man. So
and Ron, just to add to 2 things. For one, Hezonja won the MVP of the league that he was playing in, the Russian FITB league. So he won the MVP down there. But on Rokas' salary, he's making $250,000 a year now.
Okay.
For him to come to the NBA, he has like a 700, I think it's like $750,000 buyout on his contract. So and then the NBA teams can pay up to that salary. So if the Knicks want him to come back to join the roster, they can pay the full amount of money for him, so he doesn't have to add anything from his pocket. Meanwhile, the same situation with Luka Vildoza. I think his buyout was around $660,000. So the Knicks were able to pay it fully. That's why he got out of that European contract that he was on. And when he became a free agent, he had another situation and he signed with the Bucks because he was a free agent, so he didn't have to go back to Europe.
Right.
Now, if it's true on this. If it's true on this kid, guys, he's 21 years old, averaging 7 and 7 with 2 assists, but he's shooting 59% from 3.
Yeah, and from and just to be more precise, I think the last 2 months he's almost 70% from 3.
Good God,
that is unheard of.
He's like 28 for 41 or something like that. So
now, mind you, unless things changed, Andy can correct me because he obviously follows him more than I do. Last time I remember looking into Rokas, if I'm not mistaken, Rokas didn't play a lot of minutes. He played a good amount of minutes, but he also he wasn't the starter on the team.
Yeah, he's not the starter.
He's the backup because
he's the backup.
In Euro leagues, they have their system with guys and they respect their guys. It's like going to a new job and you're the new kid on the block. Not that he's new, but You know, if there's somebody above you that's been there doing the thing, that guy is the starter. So they respect
And Ron,
that.
and I'm not gonna lie, he's playing behind legends. Nick Kaletas he's a Greek legend. La Provitola, the Argentinian guard, he's a legend in Argentina. He's like Ginobili, like literally told European clubs to sign that guy because he's so talented.
Wow.
So there's plenty of guys. And listen, I'm just curious because Caleta's contract is going to be up. I'm curious if they're going to try to make him play like one more year, or if they're going to be cool with him not coming back to Barcelona and just giving the keys to Rokas. That would be a huge thing for him to getting starter minutes, right? But we're going to have to wait to see what's going to happen with that.
Right. And a quick question. I think I already know the answer, but you can't get a European player mid-season, right? Once they're in the season, that's it. They're locked up for that year.
No, they got the NBA outs in their contracts, so you can do that. Just he has to pay the fee for him to break the contract.
Okay, well that's good because if the person you just mentioned was Coletti, is it?
Yeah, Kaletas. Yeah, Nico Kaletas.
If for whatever reason he doesn't come back and Rokas gets bumped up a notch and he's able to really be on display, there's a chance that that might work to the Knicks' favor. He'll learn and maybe get a little better to the point where they say, you know what, he may not be ready the way we would like him to be ready or that he feels comfortable with, but he's ready enough that we can go get him next year. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I just don't think Rokas is, especially not with Tibbs. Say what you will. I'm not a Tibbs hater, guys, but the way Tibbs has his system, the way he does things, it doesn't look inviting for a guy like Rokas to come here and get substantial minutes, especially when you got Deuce on the bench who can't even get substantial minutes.
Yeah, Ron, just to add two things on Rokas. Listen, he's also more of a combo guard, so he can play off the ball. And that's the thing that would probably make him look a little bit more sexy for Tibbs.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I also deep down in my heart don't see Tibbs using him. So for me, he's going to stay at least two more seasons in Europe in Barcelona, because that's when his contract is going to be up. So I'm seeing him staying in Barcelona. But the other thing that's had me thinking when I saw that he got the award is, listen, he's going to be a nice trade chip, for example, of the draft night. If the Knicks don't see him, on the roster, we have a great young prospect, like the best player in Europe from the young guys. We can trade you the rights to him, right?
Right. So, man, I just hate this because Rokas could be that gem, man.
Yes.
We know what his ceiling is, like what the good comparison is. But let me tell you, Goran Dragic used to get busy in this league.
Yeah,
like,
Phoenix, especially that Phoenix did.
In his heyday, man.
Yeah, the Phoenix Goran Dragic was a beast.
Ooh-wee, he used to get busy. So and Goran Rokas is 6'4", guys. He's not a small guard. He's a good sized guard. And one thing about Rokas that I like, he's sneaky good defensively. Like he stays with his man, he gets in front of, and he's good with his hands. He gets a lot of steals. He's active. It's tough, man. But hey, I wouldn't be mad if somehow the Knicks get a top 4 pick and they say, listen, we'll give you this top 4 pick, Rokas and Julius Randle for DeJounte Murray. We'll sweeten and give you a couple more picks later. Hey, come on, San Antonio. I would make that happen if I was a Knick. I'd try to make that happen. But just saying.
Yeah, I just hope then when we got the summer league roster, up, that Rokas is willing to play in the summer league, and he's gonna bust a couple of guys' ankles. So
yeah, I hope he does that.
Him.
That would be nice because last year he was willing. He was one of the. I'm going, and we were able to keep him. I think one extra game because he was supposed to be out of here. Yeah. Like I like the kid, and I want him to succeed, and I definitely want him to come to the summer league. If nothing else, let's see him one more time in the summer league, man. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and listen, he played, barely played in the summer league, but he had international games, and listen, the Knicks probably knew that he's not going to come to the roster, right? So they literally gave him spare minutes on the summer league squad because they were looking at guys like Deuce, like Quickly, and the rest of the squad. So they just made him play, so he didn't, use up that money for the plane tickets and just, dressed up for warm-ups. That's why they gave him the couple of minutes.
And let me just say this couple things real quick, so let me get out of here. I think it also would be good for him to come to the summer league because you want to make yourself as valuable a commodity as possible, right? Put yourself on display once again over here, and he'll be a bigger piece this year because I don't think Obi and Quickly will be in the summer league. They've done their time. I think they're done with it. You might see Deuce again. You might see Grimes again. And so Rokas could, if he comes, he could have a big role because we don't really have much to display at that point. We displayed a lot of our guys.
Yeah, that is so true.
Ron, I hope, because if Quickly's going to go to the summer league to chuck shots, from the young guys, I'm going to be mad at him.
Yeah. It doesn't make Quickly's already done enough. He don't need to go to the summer league no more. So, and I definitely think Obi's not going to go.
Ron, I know you got to go, but I wanted to ask you this before you go. Quick tick on your meter of the Knicks. If you had Murray, where are you now?
I mean, we're a better team, but we're not that much better than we were because we still have issues that we have to round out the roster and figure out. But I think that puts you a step closer to being what Andy mentioned, what a lot of general consensus with Knicks fans is they want to have a good team, a perennial playoff team, right? Get there first. Next year, if we were to do something like that, it'd be a feeling out year. But then the following year, I think we would be a playoff team because we almost was a playoff team this year. So, and then from there, you can say it's just because the process is we want to speed it up, but it's not a fast process. You go through making some changes this year, tweaking the offense, the defense, and then maybe you make the playoffs this year coming. And if you're able to somehow luck out and get really good transitional pieces going forward, then the following year you're like, okay, now we know who we are because we saw it play out this year and it worked the way we like it. Then you can say, all right, well, you know what? Let's see. If we look good, next year we might add one strong piece. Don't go crazy. Just add one strong piece and see what you get. And if you get into the playoffs and you look like you're a team that can make some noise, the year after that, you might say, let's go all in and really round out the roster and push to be, a top of the league type team. But people want to do everything in 1 year, and it's not going to happen that way. It's got to take some time. And you also got to go through this whole thing and make sure Tibbs is your coach.
Yes.
So if Tibbs ain't your coach, you're going to put yourself back behind the 8 ball once again. We'll see what happens. Well, let me get up out of here. But before I go, I want to get final words from you guys. Anything you got on your mind that you wanted to give a couple seconds on? Marvin?
Yeah, just want to say thanks again, guys. Great conversation, great knowledgeable minds. I love coming in here speaking with you guys, Soulfinger, Andy, Ron. Hey, I really appreciate it, guys. And sky's the limit, man. Plenty of scenarios out there. Pretty sure something will get done. Let's put faith in that front office. How about that?
I'm with you on that. Soulfinger?
Just want to say appreciate it. Hey, everybody have a good, enjoy your weekend, your time off. Just stand pat and just follow the money and see which way it goes. It's still too soon before we can make any calls on which way it's going to go. Playoffs are still going, a lot of moving parts and everything else. So we'll see which way we can go. We got the ping pong balls falling. So whatever God you worship or pray to, if you got to get chickens and goats, sacrifice them jokers so we can get the ping pong balls to fall our way. Maybe we can get lucky. Like I said, the sun will shine on the dog's backside every now and again. So let's be that dog with a sunburned backside.
I like it. Andy?
Yeah, Ron, I got my fingers crossed that you got the right birthday wish, bro, for Tuesday.
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
And I hope the wish comes true.
All on you. All on you, Ron.
Oh man, don't put that on me, B. It would be worse if it was because I let me just because this is crazy, man. How do I not know when my damn birthday is? Okay, it's Wednesday. Because if my birthday was Tuesday, oh man, the sweat would be coming down all day, man. I'm like, and I'm on vacation this week. I'm not going anywhere. It's a staycation, but the point is I get to relax and chill. maybe you'll see more content from me, or maybe you'll see some different content. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try to stay busy this week. But the point is, I'm hoping for the best. I appreciate that, Andy. Hopefully I'm not bad juju. We got enough of some negative juju we've experienced this year. You know what I mean? See what I did there? But anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Special shout out once again to my guests, Andy, Marvin, Soulfinger. Appreciate you guys. Salute to 19 Con Man. Thank you. Be civilized in the building. And there was one other name I saw that Knicks for Life, my man Chuck Allen. What's going on, brother? And Wayne Peterson. Thank you guys. As always, it's always fun to be here chopping it up. I wish I could be here longer. I'm loving the conversation. I hate it when I gotta go when it's good, but I do have to go. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. Remember, tune in tomorrow at 12 noon for our 3-part series. That's going to be part 1 of our draft special. And also check out this Monday, Still Knicks Fans Weekly Show with myself, John, No Way Jose, and my special guest will be Danny B from Knicks Morning Drive on Twitter. If you're not familiar, guys, check him out on Twitter. He does the Knicks Morning Drive stuff. There's no Knicks games going on, but he usually gets in his car, gives you 2-minute recaps of what took place the night before. But like I said, there's nothing going on, so it's going to be good to hear from him. I'm excited for that. Thank you once again. It's been a pleasure. I'm out of here. Y'all have a great Saturday. Enjoy the weather wherever you are. We out of here.
Sir. Take care.
Easy, fellas.
Later.